2015. I'm always tempted to say Rimini, but that is of course incorrect. It's Rimini. That's what the Italians call it anyway. And we have another exciting feature match, in
Yep.
fact. This time we went with the safe bet. We just looked at the top of the list in our pairings document and said, hey, table 2 sounds really cool because we got Federico Pastore, who was the runner-up at YCS Madrid in 2014, only losing to Joshua Schmidt in the finals. And he's going up against Umut Serin from Germany. So two powerhouses that have done well at the championship level before.
Yeah, some very famous players.
And they are bringing some decks to the table that we haven't seen this weekend.
No, not yet. But they are quite famous decks.
All right. So what do we have here? Luke, run us through it.
So Shaddoll Clowns. It's kind of brought Shaddoll back to the meta game because of the addition of the clowns, the perform mages, as they're called. I always get mixed up between the three, but
Yeah.
basically it adds to your deck a nice rank 4 engine that allows you to make some nice Exceed plays.
But in a way, isn't that the same what the Star Zeros were doing?
Yeah, but I think it's just a little bit more consistent in the fact that you can send Trick Clown from your deck using Shaddoll Fusion,
Right.
and then when it hits the graveyard, it makes your construct as well as the fact that it gets its effect.
So basically what you're saying is while the Star Zeros were very powerful,
Yeah.
they were like an engine in itself inside next to the Shaddoll deck. And
Yeah.
this new engine is basically working in unison with the Shaddoll
Yeah,
engine.
just a little bit better. Just a little bit better. They do roughly the same thing. You know, they make rank 4s, but I think it just works a little bit better than the Star Seraphs did.
Right. Other decks we are expecting to see this weekend, of course, the blue elephant in the room, that is the Necros deck.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it yet, even though we didn't consciously try to avoid it, because some people are saying that. Just for the first round, we wanted to have one of the World Championship competitors, who was Alessandro Di Patria from Italy, the reigning Italian national champion. He went up against Roberta, who finished him with Battery Man.
Yep.
And in the second round, we wanted to have Paul Cooper because he made the trip from the US to Europe to have a short vacation and play some Yu-Gi-Oh! At the same time. And with some, we mean a lot in his turn and not much in his opponent's turn,
Yeah.
which was the Magical Explosion deck. Very interesting to see it on the stream. Although I just heard after the round, our volunteers that are operating the app for us, they said this is a nightmare. Like the whole
Yeah.
time, we're just like changing cards, swapping cards.
Drawing and drawing
Yeah.
and drawing and discarding and drawing.
And also, it's not very fun for our table judge because he needs to keep track of everything,
Yeah.
and he knows that if he misses something, you guys are gonna be on top of things and pointing it out, so he's not gonna look good. And
Yeah.
Kiwi is one of our most decorated judges. He's been a head judge a couple of times.
Yep. Yeah, I remember in the World Championships here last year when I was doing the app, we had a lot of Infernity players, and that was a lot of the same. It was adding cards to your hand, summoning cards straight to the field. Same with Gear, with the Gear Accelerator, just searching it, playing it, summoning Gear Giant X, just
Right.
yeah.
Okay, but we're not gonna see that much in these decks. The game plan is pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, so the mirror match is quite a lot more interesting because it's going to be some dynamic between who wants to be playing the Shaddoll Fusion first. So, because obviously people know Shaddoll Fusion allows you to fuse using material from your deck if your opponent has an extra deck monster on the field. So
You want to
obviously
avoid
it's-
that, of
yeah,
course.
if you leave an extra deck monster on your side of the field, then your opponent has Shaddoll Fusion, they're going to get a lot of advantage from that.
It's one of the things we saw back in Madrid where people were using Shaddoll Fusion and then tributing the monster away.
For Shaddoll Beast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to make sure that they didn't have something special summoned from the extra deck on the field. So at first, when you're looking at it, it's like, why do they go for this disadvantage? But in order to deny the opponent an even bigger advantage.
Yeah, it was quite a key play,
Yeah.
that one, because you could use Hedgehog to go and search your Shaddoll Beast.
But that is not something that you usually do. You only do that when you know that your opponent is also playing Shaddoll.
Yeah, and because Shaddoll's kind of not been around since then.
Yeah.
So people might not be realizing that people are now playing this deck again. I mean, it is quite a famous deck, but it's not one that's the top. Like it's not necessarily the top deck.
Right.
So,
As
yeah.
you guys can tell, there's a lot going into this game, and these two guys know how to make the most of them. It looks like they got almost identical lists. We're going to talk about that in more detail in just a second. So let's take you to the table where these guys are ready to get their game on. And we got Federico Pastore on the left, and Umut Serin on the right. Umut is sporting one of these very nice looking Kuribo shirts that are very popular among our top players. Many of them are sporting it in the feature match area especially. And there you can see our two volunteers, Marco on the left hand side and Ryan on the right hand side, making sure that you guys can see what cards they are holding on to.
Yeah. So
And how crucial is the opening 5 cards in this matchup?
yeah, so I think it's very important to have a good Shaddoll monster to be able to set on the field. So so we see in Umut's hand that he has Shaddoll Hedgehog, which is very key because Shaddoll Hedgehog's effect is that when it's flipped, you can go get a Shaddoll Fusion card from your deck. Yep, and here we see one of the clown monsters, the Perform Mage Hat Tricker.
All right. And what about the Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit? I thought that many guys considered this to be a side deck card instead of a main deck card.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I'm unsure exactly why that card's in his main deck.
Maybe he's expecting something where it's really good against. So
Yeah, possibly. So it's really good against Clifford, for example. When an effect is used, when a card's face up, you can discard it and it destroys that card.
Right. So Umut goes first, simply sets the hedgehog, and that concludes the turn.
Yeah. So that's although it's not a lot, it's quite a strong move.
It's not a lot, but it's still strong. Yeah, that's the nature of the game these days. With very powerful cards, it can make a lot of a difference.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't set bottomless trap hole. Oh wow, okay. Federico's just going straight in there with the El Shaddoll fusion.
All right. And when your opponent just starts with a face down monster, do you expect to go up against Shaddoll?
I think so, or some kind of rogue deck. But usually it's so as we were saying earlier, these are quite famous players, so he might already know what his opponent's playing.
Yeah, that is sometimes the case, especially with the guys that are really well known. They will not fly under the radar for very long. It's like they're attracting the attention of many of the other guys.
Yeah, so here we see that he's gone for that Squamata play to send the Hedgehog, which gets Beast, which I can only assume he's going to tribute Winder for that face down Beast, which is a great play. So he's first going to attack.
Okay, and now both players are aware that they are indeed playing some sort of mirror match, at least, with both players playing Shaddoll.
Yeah.
And
so we're gonna see here Umut going to search for one of the Shaddoll fusion cards, depending on which one he decides to go for. So let's have a look at the rest of his hand. He doesn't actually have any way of making a fusion play. Oh wait, no, he does. He can mind control his opponent's beast. Actually, mind control was known for being really, really good back in Madrid when there were these Shaddoll mirror matches for this exact reason.
And do you still play mind control in the main deck?
I think it is a really powerful card. You can take away your opponent's monsters, especially now that Shaddoll have the variety of attributes that they can fuse into. You can play mind control to just take any problem monster from your opponent's side of the field and deal with it by using it for one of your more powerful cards.
Okay, so Federico, just like you predicted, did indeed tribute the Winder for the Beast.
Yeah.
The so-called Madrid play. And he sets a breakthrough skill and a Raigeki, and that concludes his turn. Interesting. And now back to Umut. And what is the card that he wants to draw into here?
A Shaddoll monster. That's pretty much it. he would like a Shaddoll monster, or
Second
potentially
Shaddoll fusion.
Yeah. Okay, that's not too bad. So he can mind control the Beast, and try and gain some cards from that.
And is there, what other plays are there? Because sometimes we see players just, it's just saying, okay, it's your turn again because I'm not going to die next turn. I just want to draw one more card before I do something.
No, I think he's going to make a play here. He's probably going to play the mind control.
All right. Mind control, very, very strong card.
Yeah, so there's mind control. He's probably going to end up taking Beast. I'm not sure, but I'm willing to say that he's going to take Beast, just so that he can use Beast's effect. And now what Beast does It allows you to flip it up, and then you draw 2 cards and discard a card. Okay, so no, he's decided to take Falco.
I mean, he knows that the other card is Beast. He
Yeah.
does not know that this is Falco. And yeah, he peeks, and then he flips the Falco, and that is going to get him something back from his graveyard.
Yeah. So I think what he's doing here is kind of making a long-term investment here. He's really thinking, okay, I'm not going to be able to finish this game very quickly. Let's try and get my Hedgehog back to get a fusion card. But as we see here, Breakthrough Skill stops Falco in its tracks.
Yeah, foiling that plan. Falco is not going to bring something back.
Yeah, this is really tough for him here because he kind of has to play Shaddoll fusion. He can, so he has to go into Construct, or he can go into Shekinaga. But more likely he's going to go into Construct unless he has a good reason to. No, I was gonna say that Shekinaga might be able to stop the effect of Falco when it's flipped or something. But yeah, that's just, I think it has to be Construct.
Right.
So Construct's going to want to send a monster, one of his Shaddoll monsters from his deck to the graveyard. Yeah, so there we go. That's the Hat Tricker.
Mm-hmm. And the Falco returns to Federico's side of the field, or graveyard in this case. And there's the Construct, just like you predicted.
Yeah.
So, a few surprises here. Let's take another look at that Hat Tricker.
Yep.
So basically the first part of the effect, you never, or do you actually ever use this? If 2 or more monsters are on the field, you can special summon it from your hand?
Yeah, so that's used for when you're summoning all of your clowns. So you have a combo with the clowns where you can summon them one after another.
Okay.
And it's used to kind of put that extra monster on the field to be able to summon the likes of 104 Masquerade or an Ouroboros, something that requires multiple materials.
Right.
But yeah, most of the time, that's how it's used.
Did Umut now decide to instead go for the Shikinaga, or?
I completely got that wrong. So
No,
yeah.
he first brought out Construct, and I think he then changed his mind and went for Shikinaga instead.
No, I think we were both mistaken. A Hat Tricker is actually Earth, not Light.
Oh yes, it is.
Yeah,
it is Earth.
that's my bad.
Oh, so he wasn't able to bring out the.
No, he had to go for Construct. That's my bad.
Okay. Well, we've seen that before. That the wrong fusion monster was hitting the field.
Yep.
Sometimes in the heat of the moment, this can happen.
Yep.
And especially with the new cards, when you're not super familiar with them yet. Alright, so taking down the Falco again, and it's back to Federico, who has got a Raigeki. The Hat Trigger he drew into that card as well, and now he's gonna speed up a little bit his deck with the Beasts.
Yep. So, as I was explaining earlier, Beast's really good because it allows you to get one of your Shaddoll monsters in your hand and use their effect, because you get to discard it using Beast's effect.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to see what Federico actually draws here.
And what is the card that he wants to draw here?
So he doesn't actually have a Shaddoll monster at the moment. So one of the Shaddoll monsters that isn't Beast is pretty good.
Right.
So let's see what he draws here. So he draws a Hat Tricker.
Let's bring it back to his end.
And a Maxi.
2 copies of them?
No, I think...
Just 1, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just one. We might have got an extra one there. Or potentially. Potentially 2. Anyway, we'll get that updated. So, yep, there's the Raigeki, which is going to deal with that Shekinaga, which is perfectly fine. Usually you don't want to be using the cards like Raigeki and Dark Hole against Shaddolls because they get their effects.
Yep.
So Shekinaga is still going to get its effect, but it's only going to go get a Shaddoll fusion, which isn't that much use when you don't have material to use with it.
Right.
Because Umut only has a Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit in his hand.
But he still has something to stop his opponent with a bottomless trap hole.
Yep.
Although he's not going to use it here.
No.
Just take the damage instead. And then possibly when Federico is going for a bigger play, Umut might be considering to activate that trap card.
Yep. Yeah, so potentially on like a construct would be a good time to use it.
But it feels a little to me like this is not looking great for Umut.
No.
With Federico having the 2 copies of Maxi. So even if Umut tries to get back into the game and he starts a chain of special summons, Federico is going to gain an advantage.
Yeah, definitely.
And at the same time, Umut has nothing at the moment to stop his opponent from attacking with Torrential and Bottomless that can both only be activated when you summon a monster.
Yeah, again, like Torrential Tribute is one of those cards that destroys a lot of monsters. Isn't that good against Shaddoll because they get their effect when they're sent to the graveyard by a card effect.
Yeah. So Umut's deck
Draws
really looks...
Gigabyte. That's not useful.
Umut's deck really appears to be built against other decks, not so much for the mirror match. Is that correct?
But I think that's the case for both of their decks. It just happens to be that Federico seems to be drawing a lot more of its engine cards. So I define engine cards as like, things that are part of your archetype's useful pool of cards.
Yeah, and there's the Gigabyte.
Yeah, quite an interesting pick. So Gigabyte is used to allow easy access to Annoyatilus, and it's also searchable by King of Feral Imps.
Alright.
So we see Gigabyte just being used as cannon fodder there. Let's see if Umut can
stem the bleeding here.
Yeah, so let's see if Umut can draw some cards to get out of this.
He comes up with a Glob Bulb, which is
that's not
another...
fantastic.
Yeah. Did he just said it? Yeah, he just said it as well.
But that's okay if he can stay this out. So if he manages to draw another monster, then he can try and make some kind of synchro plays with that global.
Yeah, but here you can see even Federico with Mistake in the main deck, with Maxi in the main deck, he comes prepared against most of the other decks.
Yeah.
Especially against Necros, with Mistake being such a strong card against that archetype, denying them all the searches, and there are a lot of them.
Yeah. So Federico just has so many cards at this point. I mean, Umut's going to have to start really gaining some advantage.
Yeah, and at the same time, Federico just keeps adding more cards to his hand. They are not great at the moment, but they're going to stop Umut from doing what he wants to do. And and he has the upper hand at the time, so he should. I think he's really fine here. He's sitting in a pretty comfortable position.
Yeah. So they're both running the standard 3-2-2 build of the clowns.
Mm-hmm. And why is it that you play 3 copies of one and 2 of the others?
Just that the damage juggler is just better than the other two, and it kind of keeps that. You don't want to run too many, because if you just draw a full hand of them, then they're not that useful. But I think that just allows you to have that correct ratios of those cards. So here we see Federico's kind of making a move now, because he's been sat there with that beast for quite a while now.
Yeah.
So that is one of the light clowns, and he's going to be able to summon a construct. Yeah, that's Trick Clown. So Trick Clown's effect, when it's sent to the graveyard, it allows you to summon itself by paying 1,000.
All right, and that's a small investment.
Yeah,
in
especially.
many cases where you get so much more out of bringing it back.
Yeah.
So Federico is now basically on 7,000, while Umut is still on meager 3.6, because that can go in a heartbeat.
Yep. But I think, what card has Umut got set on the field here? Oh, he just has a damage juggler.
Yeah. Certainly not the cards he's looking for.
Nope. So there is potential here for Federico to be able to power through here. However, we're going to have to see, because Federico might be thinking, oh, I'm really far ahead, and he might take that risk to leave that construct on the field. Now, Umut still has that Shaddoll fusion. He might be able to come back with it, but we'll see.
Yeah, is there any way for Federico at this point in time to get rid of his own extra deck monster?
Yeah, he just using Construct's effect, he can send Hedgehog to the graveyard, and then search Beast, and then tribute Construct for Beast.
Okay. Although that doesn't sound great. Or
No, like not right now. It's like, I don't know.
It's like an option, but not really desirable.
Yeah, because usually the good plays to do that is when you have a Falco as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you can use Falco to like gain that advantage. You didn't really lose, but you know. But anyway, so we see Federico here kind of slowly but surely grinding down Umut's resources.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and that's one of the things that the Shaddoll deck can do almost better than any other deck.
Yeah, because they can last a very long time. So Federico is just trying to figure out what moves he's got. So yeah, there's the hat tricker.
Mm-hmm.
So like this is exactly the performage engine at its best. It's, you know, he has paid 1,000 life points to get the clown from the graveyard, and then immediately he's able to summon hat tricker. That's just a rank 4 for next to nothing.
Yeah, which sounds like a pretty good deal.
Yeah, a pretty good deal indeed. So let's see what rank 4 he's going to make here.
And also, Federico did draw into a Blackluster Soldier.
Oh, no, yeah, okay, that's that's really good.
So, if he needs to wrap things up and fast, that would be his
Yes.
go-to option.
Yes,
So-
and he does have a light and a dark monster in the graveyard, so this could be...
Well, let's see. Let's not
Let's not count him out yet.
prematurely call an end to this game.
No, nowhere near, because we see a torrential tribute.
Yeah, that's definitely a card that's going to come into play here
Yeah, definitely.
for Umut. And is that the right point in time to flip it?
Yeah, I think when he makes the Exceed play is probably the best.
But doesn't he want his opponent to have a ritual monster on the field?
A ritual,
An
extra deck
sorry,
monster.
yeah, extra deck monster, any extra deck monster, but
Yeah, but he has no way to play torrential and not destroy all of his monsters at this point. So yeah, he's quite low on life points. But actually, that's a very good point. He could wait for the Exceed play and then know that he's not going to lose this turn.
yeah.
And then when Blackluster Soldier's summoned, I don't know what's going on. I think someone must be reading the performage.
Yeah, Federico might be explaining this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah, because he's just randomly detached the performage from the invisible,
Invisible extra deck monster.
the trapeze magician.
There we go.
There we go. So the trapeze magician's back.
So it was probably just being read, and with that much text, that's not that surprising.
No. So you can detach a material from it to allow one of your monsters to attack twice, is the main effect that you need to know. So I don't think he's going to... Oh, no, of course he's going to be able to do that, because he's going to be allowing Construct to attack twice.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that's perfect. He can play Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit on that Trapeze Magician. So that destroys the Trapeze Magician because it was face up when it activated its effect.
Mm-hmm. So Umut's anti-cards that some people are not even playing in the main deck, and instead only playing in the side deck, coming into play here.
Yeah, it made a good use of that.
But does it also negate the effect?
No, it doesn't negate the effect. So I think Construct's still going to have 2 attacks. Well, we couldn't quite tell what the Trapeze Magician was targeting. So, you know, we might end up... oh, what's he doing here? Yes, so because Trapeze Magician is destroyed... It's only if it's destroyed by battle. Oh, no, sorry, yeah, if it's... it's also when it's in your possession, is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, and sent to the grave, you can special summon a Perform Mage from your deck. So
Okay.
he's gone and got... I think that's one of the ones that not many people play. What's he got there? Oh no, that is Damage Juggler. Sorry, yeah, it's hard to see.
Yeah. So we got the Damage Juggler, the Construct, and the Hat.
Hat Trigger, yeah.
Hat
So when
Trigger.
it's sent to the graveyard, you can pay 1,000 to special summon it.
Oh, sorry, that's Trick Clown.
Trick Clown, sorry, not Hat Trigger. They've all got Trick and Clown in their name.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I get confused between all these clowns.
Okay, let's take another look at Federico's hand. We mentioned the Blackluster Soldier. Falco is not really a card you want to use here at this point in time.
No, so I think he's already used his normal summon anyway.
Yeah.
For one of the clowns earlier, I'm unsure. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens here. So we're kind of back in the same situation of he's going to make a rank 4 play. Should he play Torrential? The answer's probably yes at this point. If the Trapeze Magician targeted Construct, then yeah, he has enough monsters on the field to be able to clear him out. So, okay, I don't know whether he's pointing at that. As if to say on summon of that. Yeah.
There we go. There's the torrential tribute, and a big one at that,
Yeah.
wiping the field completely clean. And that's going to trigger the effects for Federico's monsters.
Yeah, so just Construct is going to be able to get El Shaddoll Fusion back. And I don't think he has a way of... Oh, no, yeah, okay, so I think he still can win. Yes, he still wins. He's going to summon BLS attack for 3,000, and then play El Shaddoll Fusion, fusing Falco and BLS with together to make a Construct. And that should be... That's enough.
There we go. Umut has apparently indicated this line of plays, which is not that surprising. He's going.
Oh, that's exactly 3/6, in fact. Oh, that works as well.
Yeah, that's. Didn't you say he used his normal summon for the turn?
I thought... no, I was unsure about that. He probably
Okay.
didn't. He probably didn't, now that I think about it.
All right.
But yeah.
So Umut, Serin, Federico Pastore taking the first game.
Yep.
That was for a very long time. It certainly looked like he had that one in the bag,
Yeah.
and applying a lock that Umut Serin couldn't find a way out of.
Yeah, I think Umut just was, as I was saying before, Federico seemed to be drawing a lot of his engine cards that were able to make Shaddolls do what they're supposed to do.
Right.
Whereas Umut was kind of drawing the likes of Gigabyte, Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. He drew that second Shaddoll Fusion, which was quite unfortunate.
Yep.
Glow Up Bulb. Again, they're all really great cards, just not when you don't have your engine cards that are the Shaddoll monsters.
Right. You said that the main decks of these two guys there's not much difference between those two. What about the side decks that we have here?
Let's have a look at the side decks. So, Umut's side deck is quite interesting. So he's playing a lot of different cards in his side deck. So he's playing one copy of Enemy Controller. That's quite interesting.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing 3 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon, which, again...
Not surprising.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, we saw how it can do well against many different decks.
Yeah. Artifact Lancia, this is a card that we would have usually seen in the main deck. This was before the last event where, it was kind of... Lancia was the big way to combat the Necros deck. And then we see Crush Card Virus, Effect Veiler, Denko Sekka, Thunder King, again, a really great card against Necros. Max C, and I think that's Retaliating C, but it's in German.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Retaliating C. Okay, so yeah, we're probably going to see... So Enemy Control is actually really good in this situation. He can play that to try and take some of his opponents. Now, this might sound like a really crazy play, but something that's quite interesting is if you use Enemy Controller to take your opponent's fusion monster,
Right.
then they can't tribute it away. And they're going to have a fusion monster that's from the extra deck on their side of the field during your turn. That might seem like a really crazy play, but at the same time, if you have Shaddoll Fusion, then that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Because you can take it away. You can take their fusion monster away and then put them in the situation they don't want to be in, which is having a fusion monster on their side of the field.
Right. And sometimes when you can telegraph that they're going for this line of plays, this is a very, very strong answer.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that Artifact Lancia probably not going to go in. Crush Card Virus, again, probably not going to go in. Potentially some Effect Veilers to try and stop those really nasty flip effects.
Yeah. All right, that's it for the first round, and now these two have to start a second game.
Yeah.
And we haven't had a 2-0 clean sweep. Oh, no, we actually did have a clean sweep in the last game.
Yes, we did. Yeah, Marcus Patel.
Marcus Patel was, watching his opponent, Paul Cooper, play for 20 minutes on his turn.
Yeah.
And then he shuffled up.
Yeah. So Federico here is different in the fact that he's playing 3 mistakes in the main, which Umut is not playing any at all.
Not even in the side deck, yeah.
No, not even in the side deck. So I think that's the key difference. But I think Federico's probably going to take Mistake out in this matchup. It's not that good. It's only good against Hat Tricker, Damage Juggler, and against Hedgehog as well.
Right.
Yeah. So because they're the only 2 cards that add cards to your hand from the deck. So yeah, I think that was just that was quite a slow game. Neither of them really got a very explosive hand.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden it was all over.
Yeah.
And even the finish wasn't like super explosive. It was like more like a grind for Federico to strip Umut of his resources one after another.
Yeah. I do think that there was, but so multiple times during this game, the game already, we've said like Umut was being really cautious. Like some of the plays he was making was really quite cautious, and Federico again was being quite cautious with his plays. I feel like they've got the respect for each other here because they're both being really, really cautious. They don't want to overextend.
Yeah. Well, Umut knows for a fact that Federico is one of the best players
Yeah.
of Italy and actually in Europe, because many of the best players of Italy are among the best players in Europe, and he's not going to underestimate him here. Let's take a look at those hands. We got a Squamata, Hedgehog, and a Foolish.
Okay. Foolish Burial is really good.
Yeah. Popping up first for Umut. He's going to draw 2 more cards, of course. And we couldn't see any yet.
Yeah, it looks like Umut's put his hand on the field, so Ryan's unable to see what those cards are. Oh no, there we go. So we just had him loaded in here. So Maxi, a Blackluster Soldier. So we can actually see that Blackluster Soldier being played really quickly by Umut here, I think, because he can Foolish Burial the Trick Clown to be able to get Trick Clown out really quickly and kind of make a play there.
There's the complete hand for Federico Pastore.
Yeah, so a lot of clowns here, and so
Is that a bad thing to
I think
to draw that many?
yeah, I think that's
You want to have less than 3.
yeah. I'm a bit unsure about drawing that many clowns. It doesn't like do you any favors. It's similar to how the Star Seraphs weren't that useful when you drew a lot of the scepters. However, they are still useful. They're great fodder for the Shaddoll fusions. But here we see him just set the Shaddoll core and pass. So we're back with Umut. Umut has drawn an L Shaddoll fusion as well. So that's, I think, going to be some really explosive plays here. So yeah, I think
he starts with a Foolish.
yeah, so I'm going to just go out and I'm going to do that crazy thing where I try and guess what he's going to do.
Okay.
I'm going to say that he's probably going to get Trick Clown out here so that he can use that for the El Shaddoll fusion to summon a construct using the Squamata and then use Squamata's effect and Construct's effect. And at some point during that whole experience, he's going to be able to get the Beast so that he can tribute off his Construct. But yeah, we don't see Trick Clown, but we see Damage Juggler, which is just as good. That goes to the graveyard, and then that can be banished to add a Performage from your deck to your hand.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to go
thinning out and searching at the same time.
Yeah, so that's a better move than the one that I was thinking, in fact. Because he's going to be able to use Trick Clown's effect here from his hand instead. That's even better. So he's going to play El Shaddoll Fusion here, I think. He's just giving his own cards a quick read.
Yeah, and thinking about his opening play after that.
Yeah, he seems to be shaking his head for some reason.
Yeah, we see a Shaddoll core for Federico, so he basically just set that card and passed back. Oh, why does he have 5 cards then? Did he...
No, I think Umut's still playing his turn. He just shook his head, but as if to say he'd made a misplay. That was quite strange. So yeah, so all 3 of those effects.
Yeah, everything is activating here.
Yeah, everything apart from the card that has just resolved.
Yeah.
It's now being activated.
So we got the construct on the field.
Yeah. So
what's going to be next to the construct in a second?
So I think he's probably going to he's going to send Beast and Hedgehog, or potentially Falco. Oh no, he does have 1 set. Okay, yeah. So one of them is Dragon, which makes sense. And then the Clown will come out, so he's going to pay 1,000 for the Clown. And then the Dragon is going to be targeting the face down. He seems to be missing a card here. He should have sent a Beast or so like something else. He's only sent 1 card, but I don't know why.
Yeah, maybe he can give us an explanation later.
Oh, okay, there's the other card. Yeah, that's okay. So he's gonna go get a Beast here. I think we can't quite see it on the camera, but I'm willing to put money on him getting a beast here. And then there's the dragon resolving to destroy the Shaddoll core. And now we see that Umut's not got much else on here. He's probably just going to attack with the construct. Or he can tribute the clown for a beast, but do more damage, but I don't know why you'd do that. Yeah, so just attacking with construct.
Just the attack, yeah. So that makes it 5-2 for Federico.
Yeah, so he's in quite a safe position now.
Which is interesting, because seemingly the only difference is he has 2 monsters on the field compared to before.
Yep.
And normally monsters are not as good as they used to in making sure your life points don't get lower.
Yeah. So, yeah, here we see the construct, and then no doubt that El Shaddoll fusion is going to get immediately reset on the field. Yeah, I'm trying to think whether he actually had enough damage to win there. Because he had Blackluster Soldier, and he could have tributed... Just trying to work that out. No, okay, definitely didn't have enough.
Just a few points short?
Yeah.
Or a few more points?
Well, no, he could have had Blackluster Soldier, the Clown, and a face-up Beast. So that's like 5-2, plus 1-6. Doing maths on stream is never a good idea. That's 6-8 in total. So, yeah, very close. So here we see Federico just normal summoning the Trick Clown. I don't think there's much going on for Federico here.
Yeah, it looks like this game is going down a very different path, and one that leads to a lot more fortune, fame and fortune for Umut, so to speak. Okay, here comes the poor performages are doing what they're supposed to do, and Umut is reading the card.
Yeah, a card that he plays. Yeah, so Hat Tricker not only counts your monsters, but it counts your opponent's monsters too.
Right.
So there's more than 2 monsters on the field, 2 or more monsters on the field, so Hat Tricker can be summoned directly from his hand. So he can make a rank 4 play here, which is going to be great. They seem to be rotating the card quite a bit.
Yeah, that might have something to do with the fact that they're translating a lot here.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because we do have Federico from Italy and Umut, who is from Germany. So, yeah, that's a difficult thing that we do have at European events. There's quite a lot of different languages.
Yeah, it's part of the challenge here.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's sad when you want to interview somebody and you really can't because they don't speak the language.
Yeah.
But other than that, most of the time people are having a pretty good time, and it's very fun to see them express themselves with sign language instead of voicing their opinions.
Yeah. So that's another Hat Tricker, which wasn't in the hand of Federico. But yeah, so we may have an issue with the app here because one of our volunteers might not necessarily know that. Yeah, we're struggling with the clowns. There's quite a lot of them, so we'll see.
Right. So seems like there was a short interference.
Yeah. So let's see what he decides to go with here. So he can make 2 rank 4s, or he can make a rank 4 with all 3 of them, because he can overlay with 2 of them and then get Trick Clown back and summon it again using its effect.
Is that an efficient use of your resources?
I think so. In this situation, he's going to want to make a rank 4 play here. He potentially might go for Ptolemaeus. Okay, well, that's a really random maxi. I was expecting that much sooner. But still, I guess he waited and waited and waited and waited.
Yeah, but things are not. It's interesting. It looks a little bit like they are stalling into a situation where nobody wants to make a move.
Yeah.
But that could change very, very quickly with this Blackluster Soldier on the hand.
Yeah, Federico seems to be taking quite a long time for his move here. He's just really concentrating.
And you did play at a YCS before, right?
Yeah,
And how is it like pressure-wise to play at such a large event?
yeah. So, like my first ever YCS, I think when I first played was back in 2013. I can't remember which one it was. Paris or Berlin, one of them. But yeah, so it's kind of the first few rounds are quite intense. Like you don't realize because there's a lot of players. The whole usually just at locals and regionals you just have one pairings that you have to go and find,
Yeah.
and you go find your name really easily and that's it. But at YCS there's a lot of players and it's kind of the whole atmosphere is just that extra level.
It's a very different beast, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so what do we see here? We do see a rank 4 play, not that surprisingly.
Yeah, so he's going to try and make an Exciton Knight play here,
And now,
which makes all the sense.
yeah, Umut needs to have an answer to that.
Yeah. Which he only has El Shaddoll Fusion. Now, he can play El Shaddoll Fusion and fuse into Winder using the face down beast on the field and the hedgehog in hand. So we'll see if he decides to go down that route.
And how good is that play here?
Well, you're losing 2 of the cards on the field anyway, so you might as well.
Make something out of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Winder's going to be a good thing against that Exciton Knight because it can't use its effect to destroy Winder, and Winder is slightly bigger than the Exciton Knight, so yeah. Or he seems to be making Construct. That's also a play. That's a route you can take.
And you're saying this is better?
I think it's indifferent at this point. To be honest, he just gets different effects. So he can rather than having Winder on the field, he's going to be able to get the draw from Beast. He's going to be able to get his fusion back, and he's probably going to use Construct's effect to send the likes of Falco or a Hedgehog to be able to get more bang for his buck here.
Yeah. And we're still in the resolution of that Exciton Knight effect, right?
Yes.
Talk about a long chain and lots of responses here.
Yeah. So there's the Construct's effect. Okay, so he doesn't use the Construct on summon effect, which is very strange, but okay. I don't know why he wouldn't use that unless I'm just going insane, which is very possible. So
would he have more cards then if he went for it?
yeah, well he could send Falco and then he'd have a Falco face down on the field now. But yeah, so here we see Blackluster Soldier, very important card. It was forbidden many years ago, and we've seen it back in the meta ever since it was taken from the forbidden part of the list and swapped back to the limited.
And it was immediately making big waves again.
Yep.
Maybe not as dominant as it once used to be, where every deck was playing it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the popular decks are consisting of light and dark monsters, of course, and that making it so much more playable than it used to be.
Yeah. So he is using Blackluster Soldier's effect to banish the Exciton Knight, and then I think that Federico decided to use the Trick Clown and pay 1,000 to get it straight back again. Now that effect can only be used once per turn, so Umut's just having a quick read of that. Now let's see where Umut's going to go from here. He has one fusion card. He has an El Shaddoll fusion. He has the possibility to make Construct here because he has an Effect Veiler.
Yeah, so this time it is Umut with the upper hand, with all the trumps, so to speak.
Yeah, very much so. So 4,200. Let's have a look here. Let's see if he can he inflict damage. It is possible. So he's not used his normal summon yet.
Mm-hmm.
There's a route he can go down, but I don't think that would be enough damage. He can do some play where he like summons Construct and then uses Hedgehog's effect to get Falco to his hand and then summon Falco and sync out with the BLS to make a Leo. That's a good play. But he seems to be using the BLS for the fusion. Yep, here we go. So that's going to be a construct. So still, construct being on the cards here. Construct's probably the most powerful fusion that Shaddoll have, just because of its versatility in being able to use any of the Shaddoll monsters' effects from the deck. So here we see the Falco being sent. So
And
Falco's effect just summons it straight back when it's sent to the graveyard by a card effect.
So Umut not losing any position, not giving up anything here.
Not really. So I wonder what he had added with Hedgehog. He doesn't seem to have added anything. Yeah. So I think we're in time here.
Already.
Yeah.
Although this game went on for quite a while, we can just quickly check when we had the pairings for the round.
Yeah, so it looks like Kiwi's put a piece of paper on the board there that says turn 0.
Oh yes, yes. The pairings have been made at like 14, 15, and now it's 3, and even with a little bit time in between to get them over here and everything, we have already made it through 40 minutes, and we're still we're in the second game, not in the first, but
Wow.
still that has been going on.
Yeah.
And we talked about the fact that the mirror match in this particular matchup is quite tiring.
Yeah.
And making it hard for players to not lose their focus. And now it seems like Umut is about to tie the score, and then we would be going to a third and deciding duel in extra time.
Yeah, so we could have something really crazy here where Federico just top decks a Shaddoll fusion. Oh, maybe not. Nope, he's just going to tribute off that construct for that beast again. So, yeah.
So much for that.
Yep. So Federico still is going to be looking for some kind of fusion card, or he's probably going to just end up... I think that's Nefer Shaddoll fusion. I can't read his deck list because it's in Italian, but I do wonder if he's playing Nefer Shaddoll fusion. We will see.
It doesn't look like it because, I mean, it should be... I mean, we got Shaddoll Fusion and we got L Shaddoll Fusion.
Oh,
and
so it was L. It was L. I just couldn't see it very well.
And those are it.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. But
So
there's
that
like...
that's the damage juggler. So we're going to see him fuse using that damage juggler, and that's a light one, so he's going to be going into Construct. And Construct's effect triggers here, or not, because of Effect Veiler. There's a lot of or nots in this game.
Yeah. You gotta be really careful what sentence you're speaking, because it might not have the desired ending.
Yeah, well, these guys kind of they've been making quite a lot of slow plays and then moving into doing a lot of quick plays all at once. So that's a good position to have a set Falco there, but we do know that Umut's side of the field is much scarier.
Yeah, let's take another look at that.
So although there's a lot of face-down stuff, and usually a face-down defense position monster is meant to be the one cowering away from some attack position monster, not when it's a Falco and a Beast. They both have really powerful flip effects.
Yeah.
So Falco allows you to special summon one of your Shaddoll monsters back from the graveyard in face-down position, face-down defense position, and Beast allows you to draw 2 cards and then discard one of those cards. So let's see what Umut has to say. So again, the pendulum swings backwards and forwards here, and it's now back in Federico's court here. He seems to have some kind of board control back from before, but Umut does have this very strong defensive line,
Right.
with Beast and Falco. So he's going to attack Falco, and Falco gets destroyed immediately because it was special summoned, and then the Trick Clown destroys it again.
Alright, second turn.
Yep.
In extra time. In our round 3 only.
Yep.
Well, if all the rounds are going to take this long, it's going to be a
We're
very...
gonna be here a while.
Yeah. Because we're not used to this after the first and the second round, that we're like over in a...
In a flash.
Yeah, you just blinked and it was over.
Like some kind of magical explosion.
Right.
That was an amazing joke, Ollie.
I know.
That was a subpar laugh for such a good joke.
I know. Rob, when this happens with Rob on the stream, he's then gonna be quiet for the next 5 minutes and containing his laughter, yeah, because he's just like holding it in. All right,
Oh,
the Denko Seka sent to the graveyard.
yep.
Not that useful right now.
No. Yeah, so it's just this game has been very, very grindy, shall we say.
Yeah.
There's the first mathematician that we've seen, which
Yeah.
is quite strange considering
There were
the
times when we didn't have much to talk about in Shaddoll, and we were just like debating whether Armageddon Knight or Mathematician was the right choice. These two guys are both going with Mathematician. They're actually maxing out on it. Yeah.
So, okay, this is interesting. Umut may be trying to make an armory arm play. Now, that might just be
There's the glow
me
up
being
bulb returning.
crazy. Or he could be making Trishula.
Like the good old version of Trishula,
Yes,
not the
yes.
Necros Trishula that
Yeah.
you usually see all the time.
Yeah, Trishula is actually my favorite card in the whole game. So I'm quite excited about the thought of this. But he's immediately regretting that somehow.
Yeah.
Come on,
Or
just
is
play
he-
just play Trishula, please. Please just play Trishula. That'd make my day.
Yeah, I mean, is there reason not to? That's the question.
Well, it would deal with that construct pretty swiftly. It would just be able to banish it immediately, and then, Trick Clown just gets disappeared real quick. Okay, so he's going to attack that Falco, and he has nothing to summon back with it, which is great. He's going to attack into that, and then after that, whether he's going to pay for it, yeah, so he decides to pay.
But that looks like a much better line of plays.
Yeah, I know, but it's not a Trishula, is it?
Yeah, but we could still.
Yeah, we could still see Trishula here.
Yeah, it's not like.
Okay, this is interesting. So he gets to summon the Shaddoll Core and attack into the Trick Clown. So Trick Clown's effect can only use once per turn, and now we're going to see a Trishula to deal with that construct.
And Federico is getting ready to banish it already. And yep,
Yes.
there is a three-headed dragon. Wow. It's been a
Yeah.
while since we've seen
It
that
has
card.
been a while, and
Yeah.
that feels so good to
It-
see Trishula being played again.
In case you guys forgot how these cards are called, those are synchro monsters. Yeah, it's not always about the blue ones, the fusions,
Yep.
and the purple ones, the rituals, and of course the Exciton monsters. No, there are also synchro monsters, and they used to be extremely powerful.
Yeah, so this being the original Trishula has an even more powerful effect than the Necros version of Trishula. This one, you can, even without your opponent having a card on the field, in the hand, and in the graveyard, you can banish one from each zone.
Right, and now Umut is in the most commanding position that he's
Yeah,
ever
there
been
we
in.
go. So Umut wins here, which brings it to a 1-1 tie.
Right, and that means we need a third and these. Oh no, actually it
Yeah,
ends in a draw.
yeah, it's a tie.
Yeah, because we're still in the Swiss rounds.
Yep.
I'm so used to covering the knockout stages
Yep.
that this is kind of new for us.
Yeah, so in the Swiss portion of the event, if the time is over and it's still 1-1, then we end it in a tie.
All right, wow, and that was what a thriller that's been.
Yeah, I'm
And-
really pleased to see a Trishula being played.
Yeah, that was a cool ending to this story.
Yeah.
And what do you feel about that game? Was it delivering? I mean, it was a little bit slow at times.
Yeah, it was. It was very kind of long and drawn out. It was quite difficult to keep track at some points there, just purely because of the amount of clowns running around. I mean, just, that was very, very interesting though to see just how two fairly identical lists here
Yeah.
could just. It was all about managing your resources and just really trying to keep up with your opponent, but not overextending in such a way where you would allow your opponent to play Shaddoll Fusion.
Right. But both of these players, it didn't look like they made any mistakes.
No,
It seemed like they had a perfect understanding of what to do in this game and enforce all the key plays, so to speak.
Definitely. And they both always were covering their backs by getting rid of their extra deck monsters from the field, yeah, that was great.
Yeah, and you could tell that those two were extremely experienced. And we are going to do a short interview. We might be having to keep it a little bit shorter because the main event is already in time as well.
Yeah,
But I think we're going to make use of that opportunity to talk to one of these guys.
yeah,
Umut is always up for a chat from.
yeah.
He's one of the guys. He's like, yeah, I can come over. I can talk about decks.
Cool.
And so, without further ado, I guess we're going on a break, and then we're going to return with Umut. So let's just catch.
See these guys soon.
Yeah, see you guys in a bit.